Malfeasance is quickly becoming one of the most powerful exotics in Destiny 2. This weapon received its catalyst at the start of the season, giving it Vorpal weapon for an additional 20% damage buff against both bosses and majors. Malfeasance is an integral part to the solo Nezarec damage strat, is currently being used by top players to speedrun solo grandmasters, and despite how strong it already is, it's getting buffed again. This weapon will receive a 20% damage buff against red bars and a 75% damage buff against majors as part of the hand cannon rebalancing next season. This weapon is already ridiculously strong, and with the exotic pairing I'll be showcasing today, Malfeasance could easily skyrocket to the top of the PVE meta in Season 22. I'm Above, and if you enjoyed today's video, a like and subscription would be greatly appreciated. Now, let's get into it. Malfeasance was first introduced during the Forsaken expansion and needed several major buffs to bring it back into relevancy, including multiple damage passes and the addition of an intrinsic unstoppable champion stun. But it wasn't until this season when it received its catalyst that it finally became endgame viable. This weapon shoots tainted slugs that stack on a target, and stacking enough of these slugs will cause an explosion that not only deals bonus damage, it also stuns unstoppable champions. And unlike other exotic weapons like Witherhoard, where dupes of the same exotic are actually a detriment because they don't stack, the more Malfeasance you run in a fire team, the faster the tainted slugs will detonate on a target for additional damage over time. And similar to explosive rounds, these slugs have no damage fall off, which makes this weapon viable at all ranges. Malfeasance also comes with a perk called Taken Predator, which allows this weapon to deal 25% bonus damage to taken enemies, as shown in the side-by-side comparison between the two bosses on screen. With that said, you can actually simulate the taken bonus damage on any boss in the game by simply blighting the target with Witherhoard. This tricks Malfeasance into thinking that you're shooting a taken target, giving you the 25% damage bonus for free. And with Witherhoard being such a popular option in boss DPS scenarios, I can definitely see this being viable in a day one raid setting where heavy ammo may be scarce and you need something to help supplement your damage. But the taken buff is only part of the equation. As I noted at the start of the video, this weapon's catalyst now gives it Vorpal, and next season it will receive a 20% damage buff against red bars and a 75% damage buff against majors. And what's crazy about this is the fact that champions are coded as majors, which means that this champion bake will happen nearly twice as fast next season. So yeah, this weapon is stupidly fun to use and incredibly slept on in the PVE meta at the moment, so let's dive into what makes Malfeasance so busted. The Lucky Pants are a hunter exotic boot that contain a perk by the name of Illegally Modded Holster. This exotic perk states that when you ready a fully loaded hand cannon that deals kinetic damage or matches your subclass's energy type, each hit increases the damage of the next shot against combatants for a short period of time. This damage boost can stack up to 10 times and adds an additive 60% damage bonus per stack. The base damage of Malfeasance on a non-taken enemy is just 3,046 damage. Compare this to a similar taken enemy, and as expected, this number jumps to 3,807, which is 25% higher thanks to Taken Predator. At times 2, which is where the damage stacking begins, we gain a 60% damage bonus, which hits for 6,091 damage. At times 5, we gain a 300% damage bonus, hitting for 12,942 per shot, and at 10 stacks, you hit for a staggering 600% damage bonus, which hits for 26,645 per shot. With the numbers we've showcased so far, we can take the 600% damage buff from Illegally Modded Holster and multiplicatively stack it with the damage buff from Taken Predator for a 775% damage bonus, which is why these champions are getting absolutely destroyed by this weapon. This damage bonus may only last 5 seconds, but it only has a 10-second cooldown after being used, which makes it perfect for bursting down champions and other high-profile enemies. Malfeasance is unique because it's viable for both ad clear and single target damage, and the crazy part is that what you just witnessed doesn't even factor in damage bonuses from weapon surges or other buffs and debuffs that can be applied to a target. If If we pair this with one kinetic surge, this damage bonus ramps to approximately 862%, with 2, it jumps to 923%, and with 3, the damage boost escalates all the way up to 967%, hitting 32,507 damage per shot at maximum stacks. And what's crazy about this is that you can simply run countercharge from the artifact mods this season to gain this damage bonus every time you stun a champion, which makes this incredibly easy to do. And though this won't be available to us next season, you can gain armor charges via the typical methods, such as picking up orbs of power, which is still relatively easy to do. When running activities like Grandmaster Nightfalls, I recommend running 2 kinetic surges to make room for recuperation, which provides survivability in underleveled content. But for boss encounters, you can easily run all 3 surges for maximum damage and get some insane results for you and your fire team. This gameplay loop is so much fun because you take out Malfeasance, burst down a champion in literal seconds with a legally modded holster, then put the weapon away and use your add clear weapons to clear the encounter. By the time you get to the next champion, a legally modded holster is back off cooldown, which means we can do this over and over and over again. And it's so satisfying seeing these champions dissolve right before your eyes. And these numbers get even crazier depending on the subclass that you're running. You can stack an additional 25% damage bonus on Solar Hunter when using Radiant, or you can swap to a Void Hunter for up to a 30% debuff on a target with Tether. You can take advantage of damage buffs all the way up to a staggering 1200% as a solo player, which makes endgame content accessible for just about anyone. And for the record, I was on Arc for most of the footage in this video because this level of damage stacking isn't necessary to make this weapon shine, but it is pretty crazy to see what kind of results we can achieve with the multipliers we have in the game today. And the wildest part about this is that these are pre-buff damage numbers. So if we take all of the previous calculations into account, this combo will deal over 2100% bonus damage at maximum stacks, which means you'll be melting champions in nearly half the time. This build doesn't require any crazy setup or any specific mods to shine, just Malfeasance, Lucky Pants, and basic weapon surges to destroy endgame content. This weapon is stupidly fun to use, and I can't wait to see what it's capable of next season. Anyways guys, that's gonna do it for the video. If you enjoyed, a like and subscription would be greatly appreciated. What weapons are you guys looking forward to next season? Be sure to let me know down in the comments section below. And as always, you can catch me live over at twitch.tv/above, where I game with my community almost daily. That's it from me. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.